Welcome back to the channel RareCoins History, coin lovers and treasure seekers. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that's not only rich in American history, but also possibly rich in your pocket, the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar with a mint mark. This is one of those coins that millions of people passed around in everyday change, but only a tiny few knew its true hidden value. You might be holding one of the most overlooked treasures in U.S. coinage. So, sit back and stay tuned, because this journey into the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar might just blow your mind. Let's begin with a bit of background. The Kennedy half-dollar series was first introduced in 1964, shortly after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Americans were still mourning the loss of a leader who had inspired hope, courage, and a new direction. In his honor, the U.S. Mint moved swiftly to redesign the half-dollar coin to carry his profile. The response from the public was overwhelming. People didn't just use the coin, they cherished it. Many refused to spend it, keeping it as a piece of history. Fast forward to 1972. By then, the Kennedy half-dollar had been circulating for nearly a decade, but changes were underway. Silver had been removed from circulation coins in 1971, and the new copper-nickel-clad version became the standard. But here's where things get exciting. Not all 1972 Kennedy half-dollars are created equal. The ones bearing a mint mark, especially from certain mints, carry a mysterious appeal. Mint marks such as D for Denver or S for San Francisco can completely change how collectors view the coin, and in rare cases, one specific version can skyrocket in value. The design of the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar is simple yet bold. On the obverse, you'll see the confident, left-facing portrait of John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States. His image radiates leadership and resilience. The word "Liberty" curves around the top, and just beneath his chin, the phrase, "In God We Trust," reminds us of the nation's core values. Below that, the date, 1972, is stamped in clear numerals. Flip the coin over, and you're met with the seal of the President of the United States, a fierce, proud bald eagle, wings stretched wide, grasping an olive branch and arrows in its talons. This coin, even in worn condition, demands respect. But if yours has the right details, you're not just holding history, you're holding a fortune. So, what exactly makes the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar with a mint mark so valuable? It all comes down to condition, rarity, and those tiny but important minting details. Most coins from 1972 were mass-produced and used daily. They show signs of wear, scratches, fading, dull edges. But if you happen to come across a coin in near-perfect condition, uncirculated, sharp edges, flawless surfaces, you've already found something special. But what if your coin has more than just great condition? What if it has an unusual mint error? A double die, a misaligned strike, or a coin that was accidentally struck on the wrong planchet? These are the kinds of minting mishaps that turn a regular half-dollar into a rare collector's prize. Combine one of those errors with a mint mark, particularly from San Francisco, where proof coins were often struck, and suddenly, you're looking at a coin that collectors will fight for. Some rare proof strikes or unique variants are virtually unknown to the public but cause major buzz in coin auctions. Imagine this: a coin you might find in an old collection box, a forgotten roll, or hidden in a safe could be one of the rarest versions of the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar ever made. In some stunning cases, when these rare combinations come together, mint mark, minting error, and pristine condition, the value of the coin can climb higher than anyone would expect. And here's the part you've been waiting for: one of these rare 1972 Kennedy half-dollars with a mint mark, in extraordinary condition and carrying a unique minting error, has sold for an astonishing $90,000. That's right, $90,000 for a single half-dollar coin. So before you toss that old change jar or pass over a half-dollar that looks just like the others, take a closer look. You might be holding a coin worth more than a luxury car, or even a down payment on a home. Check for mint marks. Check for strange details or errors. And most importantly, protect it. Because your next trip through your old coin stash might just be the moment that changes your life forever. Today, we're going to unlock the incredible story behind one of the most iconic and eye-catching coins in American history, the United States Kennedy half-dollar bicentennial edition, minted with the dual date 1776 to 1976 and a mint mark that could mean the difference between a simple coin and an unbelievable fortune. You may think it's just another old half-dollar, but by the end of this video, you'll understand why this patriotic piece has become one of the most desirable coins for collectors around the world, and why one rare version of it sold for an incredible amount of money. So don't blink, because this coin might just be hiding in your own change jar or tucked away in a forgotten drawer. Let's take a step back into history, 2 centuries, in fact. In 1976, the United States of America celebrated its 200th anniversary of independence, and to mark this monumental occasion, the U.S. Mint did something special. Instead of using the standard reverse design on certain coins, they released commemorative designs for the quarter, the dollar, and yes, the Kennedy half-dollar. These special bicentennial coins all carried the dual date, 1776 to 1976, to honor America's birth and enduring legacy. This Kennedy half-dollar wasn't just currency, it was a piece of patriotic celebration carried in people's pockets across the country. On the obverse, the coin retains the familiar left-facing portrait of President John F. Kennedy, a symbol of leadership, courage, and modern American history. But turn the coin over, and that's where the magic of the bicentennial design truly shines. Instead of the usual presidential seal, the reverse features a stunning image of Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the very place where the Declaration of Independence was adopted. It's more than a coin, it's a miniature monument to American freedom, a tribute to the Founding Fathers, and a piece of national pride. But as every collector knows, not all Kennedy half-dollars are created equal. While millions were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, the key to unlocking the coin's real value lies in the mint mark, the strike type, and the condition. You'll find the mint mark just below Kennedy's neck on the obverse side. A D means it came from the Denver Mint. An S means San Francisco, where proof and silver versions were created. And no mint mark at all? That means Philadelphia. But here's where it gets exciting. Proof coins, silver-clad strikes, and especially coins with minting errors or those in perfect, uncirculated condition can be worth far more than face value. Most of the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollars that you'll find in circulation today are made of copper nickel-clad. They're common, used, and not worth much beyond 50 cents. But some were struck in 40% silver, especially those from San Francisco with the S mint mark. These silver versions were often sold in special collector sets and never entered everyday circulation, meaning some survived in flawless condition. And that's where the story gets richer. Now let's talk about rarity. Imagine you stumble across a 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar with a sharp S mint mark, struck in 40% silver, kept in a protective holder, untouched by time. No scratches, no wear, just brilliant luster and crisp details. This is the kind of coin that gets collectors buzzing. But take it one step further, add in a minting error like a double die, an off-center strike, or a rare proof strike with frosting issues, and suddenly you have a coin that's not just rare, it's extraordinary. Collectors around the world are constantly searching for these elusive coins. Some are hidden in old family collections, others lost in forgotten rolls in bank vaults, and a few just waiting to be discovered in antique shops or flea markets. And when one of these ultra-rare 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollars with the perfect storm of factors, mint mark, silver composition, pristine condition, and a striking error, comes up for auction, the bids don't stop. So now for the part you've all been waiting for. What's the value of one of these special bicentennial Kennedy half-dollars? While many are worth only their face value, and some silver ones might bring in a few dollars, there is one version that truly stands out, a San Francisco minted 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar, struck in 40% silver, proof condition, with an ultra-rare minting error that caused shockwaves through the collecting community. That single coin sold for a jaw-dropping $93,000, yes, you heard that right. $93,000 for one Kennedy half-dollar. So if you've got a jar of old coins at home, it's time to start digging. Look closely. Check the date. Check the mint mark. Look for signs of silver content. And most importantly, inspect for unusual markings, errors, or proof quality finish. Because that overlooked coin could turn out to be a life-changing discovery. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of a coin that millions of people have seen, held, and spent without ever realizing its true potential, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar with a mint mark. At first glance, it may seem like just another coin from the past. But take a closer look, and you'll discover this half-dollar could be hiding a secret value so powerful, it might just change your life. Some of these coins, yes, even one sitting quietly in a coin jar or old collection, have sold for incredible amounts, and if you're lucky enough to have the right one, you could be staring at something worth tens of thousands of dollars. So let's dive in and uncover the story behind this iconic American coin that could be worth a small fortune. The Kennedy half-dollar series began in 1964, launched just months after the heartbreaking assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The coin was meant to honor his memory, and Americans immediately embraced it, not just as currency, but as a symbol of hope and national pride. For many, it wasn't just a coin, it was a tribute, a memorial, a keepsake of a leader whose words still echo through time. By 1973, the Kennedy half-dollar had already become a familiar part of American life, but that year's edition came with its own unique significance. The 1973 Kennedy half-dollar was never released into general circulation. That's right, unlike earlier versions, these coins were only available in mint sets and collector sets. The general public couldn't get them from the bank or receive them in change at the store. This already made them rarer than most other half-dollars, and much harder to come by in perfect condition. If you've got a 1973 Kennedy half-dollar in your collection, especially one with a mint mark, you're already ahead of most people in the hunt for treasure. Let's talk about the design that makes this coin stand out. On the obverse, as always, is the dignified left-facing portrait of President John F. Kennedy. His likeness is surrounded by the word liberty, the national motto, "In God We Trust," and the year 1973 boldly stamped beneath. It's a clean, powerful design, simple, yet filled with meaning. On the reverse, the United States presidential seal bursts to life, featuring the majestic bald eagle clutching an olive branch and arrows in its talons. The stars, the shield, the glory of the American Republic, all captured in one beautiful piece of metal. Now here's where things get really interesting. The mint mark, found just below Kennedy's neck on the obverse, can tell you a lot about your coin. A D means it was minted in Denver. An S means it came from the San Francisco Mint, and if you don't see any mint mark, it was produced in Philadelphia. Each of these mint locations brings a different level of rarity and appeal for collectors. But what really turns a 1973 Kennedy half-dollar into a high-value collectible is the condition, and the unexpected errors that sometimes came with the minting process. Collectors are always looking for coins in uncirculated or proof condition, especially those with shiny surfaces, no scratches, and sharp detail. But even more thrilling are the minting errors, accidents that happen during production. Things like double dies, off-center strikes, planchet issues, or even coins struck on the wrong metal. These errors are incredibly rare and often unnoticed until someone with a keen eye takes a closer look. The coin you think is ordinary could actually be one of a kind, and worth far more than you'd ever imagine. So why is the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar with a mint mark so valuable? It's the perfect storm of limited release, collector demand, error rarity, and exceptional preservation. These coins weren't widely available, they weren't used in daily transactions, and many remained hidden in sealed sets for decades. If you happen to find one in pristine, untouched condition, or even better, one with a rare minting error, you're not just holding a coin, you're holding a jackpot. And now, here comes the part everyone's been waiting for. One of these rare 1973 Kennedy half-dollar coins, featuring a mint mark, flawless condition, and a highly unusual minting error, was auctioned and sold to an eager collector for an eye-popping $80,000. Yes, you heard that right. $80,000 US for a single 1973 Kennedy half-dollar. So before you overlook that old half-dollar in your drawer, stop and take a second look. Check the date. Look for the mint mark. Examine it carefully for any imperfections, or maybe perfect errors, that could turn your 50-cent piece into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Your next big win might be sitting in your collection right now, waiting for you to notice it. Today's video is all about a coin that many people have seen and used without realizing the incredible secret it could be hiding, the 1981 Kennedy half-dollar with a mint mark. Yes, that shiny half-dollar you've seen lying around or buried deep in a coin jar could be worth far more than 50 cents. In fact, there's one particular version of this coin that shocked collectors when it sold for a life-changing amount. Stay with us, because what you're about to learn might make you take a second look at every half-dollar you've ever touched. Let's rewind the clock to 1981. It was a time of change and transformation in America. Ronald Reagan had just taken office as the 40th President of the United States, the economy was recovering, and people were hopeful for a stronger future. In the world of U.S. coinage, the Kennedy half-dollar was still one of the most recognized and respected coins in circulation. Since its debut in 1964, following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy, this half-dollar had carried deep patriotic meaning and emotional weight. And by 1981, the series was still going strong, but something happened that year that makes these coins particularly interesting to collectors. The 1981 Kennedy half-dollar wasn't minted in huge numbers for circulation like earlier years. In fact, very few were released for everyday use. Instead, most of them were made specifically for collectors in U.S. mint sets, meaning the general public rarely saw these coins in their pocket change. This limited availability instantly makes them more collectible, especially when we talk about coins with specific mint marks or rare production qualities. Let's talk about the design for a moment. The obverse of the coin features the iconic left-facing profile of President Kennedy, sharp and proud, surrounded by the word liberty and the motto, "In God We Trust." The date, 1981, appears just below his neckline. Now, if you look closely at the area just beneath Kennedy's neck, you'll spot a small mint mark. A P means it was minted in Philadelphia. A D stands for Denver. And an S indicates it was struck at the San Francisco Mint. This little letter makes a huge difference when it comes to value, especially the S mint mark, which was used for proof coins that were never meant for circulation. Now flip the coin over, and you're greeted by the majestic seal of the President of the United States. A proud eagle spreads its wings wide, clutching arrows and an olive branch, ready for peace but prepared for strength. The image is surrounded by stars and the words, United States of America, and half-dollar. It's not just a piece of money, it's a piece of American pride and symbolism. So what makes the 1981 Kennedy half-dollar with a mint mark so valuable? The answer is in the condition, the rarity, and the unexpected errors that occurred during minting. Most of these coins were struck for collectors and kept in sets, which means they were never meant to be spent. But a few made it into circulation, where they were exposed to wear and tear. Finding a 1981 half-dollar in flawless, uncirculated condition is already a rare feat, but finding one with a minting error, such as a double die, off-center strike, or a coin struck on the wrong planchet, is even more rare. Combine that with a clear and sharp mint mark, especially from San Francisco, and you've got something truly special. What's more, collectors are willing to pay top dollar for coins that are perfectly preserved, especially those with deep cameo-proof qualities, strong luster, and flawless surfaces. These are the coins that catch attention at auctions and coin shows. And when an error is added into the mix, collectors go wild, because error coins are, by nature, one of a kind. No two are exactly the same, and that uniqueness drives prices higher and higher. Imagine for a moment, you're sorting through an old mint set or flipping through a family coin album, and you come across a 1981 Kennedy half-dollar. It's sharp, shiny, untouched by time, and bears a mint mark that tells you it was made with collector quality in mind. You decide to get it professionally graded, and the results come back, a rare error, flawless proof condition, and a mint mark that confirms it came from a highly limited batch. And now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. One such 1981 Kennedy half-dollar, with an S mint mark, in perfect proof condition, and carrying a highly rare minting error, was sold at auction for a staggering $70,000. Yes, you heard that right. $70,000 for a coin that most people wouldn't even glance at twice. But in the world of numismatics, rarity, condition, and uniqueness are everything, and this coin checks all the boxes. So the next time you come across a Kennedy half-dollar, don't just brush it off. Take a closer look. Check the year. Examine the mint mark. Look for any signs of unusual features or errors. Because the coin sitting in your hand might not be worth just 50 cents, it could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Today's journey takes us into the fascinating story of a modern American coin that many have handled but few have truly appreciated, the 1992 Kennedy half-dollar with a mint mark. You might think of it as just another coin from the 90s, but what if I told you that a rare version of this exact coin has turned heads at auctions and stunned collectors with a jaw-dropping value? You don't want to miss a single detail, because by the end of this video, you'll know how this ordinary-looking coin could be worth more than most cars, or even someone's entire yearly income. Let's begin by setting the stage. The year is 1992. America is in the final stretch of the 20th century. Bill Clinton is elected president, grunge music and VHS tapes are everywhere, and people are living in the heart of the digital revolution's early days. And while all of that was happening, the US Mint continued producing coins that most people used and forgot about, but that a few savvy collectors knew to keep a close eye on. The Kennedy half-dollar, introduced in 1964 in memory of the late President John F. Kennedy, remained in production through this decade. By 1992, the design was iconic. Familiar. Trusted. But what many didn't realize was that not all 1992 Kennedy half-dollars were created equal. Let's talk about the design first. The obverse, or front side, of the coin proudly features President John F. Kennedy's left-facing portrait. Strong and steady, it's a lasting tribute to the 35th President of the United States. Above his head, you'll see the word Liberty. To the left and right, the phrase, "In God We Trust." And right beneath his neck, the year 1992. But just below Kennedy's neckline, you might find something small but critically important, the mint mark. This little letter tells you where the coin was minted. A P stands for Philadelphia. A D indicates Denver. And perhaps the most intriguing, S, means it was struck at the San Francisco Mint, which produced special proof coins and silver issues for collectors. Now flip the coin over. The reverse side shows the seal of the President of the United States, a powerful bald eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows in one talon and an olive branch in the other. Surrounded by stars and framed by the words, United States of America, and half-dollar, it's one of the most patriotic and recognizable reverse designs in all of U.S. coinage. But while the design stayed consistent, some of these 1992 half-dollars were anything but ordinary. Here's where things get exciting. In 1992, the U.S. Mint released silver-proof versions of the Kennedy half-dollar once again, after a long pause. These were struck in 90% silver, and they were sold only in special collector sets, not meant for circulation. These silver-proof coins, especially those bearing the S mint mark from San Francisco, are already rare and desirable. But a few of these coins stood out even more, because of minting errors, deep cameo finishes, and stunning perfect-grade conditions that made them instantly valuable in the eyes of expert collectors. You see, coins from 1992 with rare flaws, like double die strikes, misaligned dies, or strikes on wrong planchets, are incredibly uncommon. Combine one of those errors with a silver-proof, deep mirrored surfaces, and perfect sharpness, and you've got a coin that can skyrocket in value. And here's something you should know, not all errors are visible to the untrained eye. Some might require a magnifying glass or professional grading service to be identified, but once confirmed, these tiny details can add thousands, sometimes tens of thousands, of dollars to a coin's worth. And don't forget, the condition of the coin is everything. A 1992 Kennedy half-dollar that's been sitting in a drawer, tarnished or scratched, may not fetch much. But one that's been protected in its original proof set, stored away without a single fingerprint or scratch, can easily stand out to collectors, especially if it carries a rare strike, finish, or error. These coins are graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, and those with top grades, like PR70 Deep Cameo or MS70, can bring in staggering amounts at auctions.so. If you've ever opened a dusty coin album or found an old US Mint set sitting forgotten in a family collection, don't overlook the 1992 Kennedy half-dollar. Check the mint mark. Examine the details. Look for that shimmering silver glow. What you have might not just be a memory from the past, it could be a small treasure waiting to change your future, and now, here it is, the moment you've been waiting for. One extremely rare 1992 Kennedy half-dollar, with a San Francisco mint mark, struck in 90% silver, preserved in perfect proof condition, and featuring a rare minting error, recently sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $76,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $76,000 for a single half-dollar coin.so. Next time you find yourself holding a 1992 Kennedy half-dollar, take a moment. Don't dismiss it. Examine it carefully. It might just be your ticket to an unexpected fortune. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to USA Coins 69, and tap the notification bell so you never miss the next coin that could be worth more than gold. Until next time, happy collecting, and good luck finding your next rare treasure.